We'll call the meeting to order with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, can I have a motion on the minutes? Oh, you know what? I don't think we can approve the minutes because Nicole wasn't here last time, so she can't vote. So I think we'll have to, unless somebody else joins, we'll have to hold the minutes till next meeting. Do we have any correspondence, Michael or Diane?
We do have some correspondence. Give you an update on the Eagle Scout project that came before the Parks and Rec Commission for a platform behind the shed that's currently at Settlers Park. That has been approved by planning, and they are ready to proceed. At a previous meeting, the Parks and Rec Commission voted to make up the difference of cost between Trex and pressure treated, so that the platform will be Trex, and he's estimating that the difference for an 80 square foot platform will be a $400 difference. So I just want the commission to be aware that I will be submitting those minutes along with a probably a reimbursement to the Eagle Scout once he brings in the receipts for those materials. We also received a letter, well, I received a letter from Mr. Pillmeyer, so I'll put that in, just note that for the record.
He found out you exist.
And then all of the commission received a letter as well. It looks very similar to what, you know what, this is left over from last month. So Diane, if we haven't sent this letter to the commission, seeing as it is addressed to the commission, we'll scan a copy and send it off to everybody because it is addressed to the commission.
Okay.
And then just to let you know, we continue to get positive feedback via email. Of course, we get our normal correspondence about dogs off leash in parks or dogs in some parks that they're not supposed to be in. But where we seem to be getting very consistent positive feedback is at Hidden Pond. We received an email from somebody that took a time and drafted a very nice email and wants to do a couple of projects along with the other volunteers there, Frisbee Phil, we call him. And they want to build a couple of bridges over on the blue trails that run outside of the disc golf course. So for any of you that haven't been to the disc golf course there, I suggest that you might want to check it out. It's pretty cool. The disc golf course basically runs in a loop inside of the blue trail. So if you picture a circle, there's an outer loop, which is the blue trail, and then there's an inner loop that they've made the disc golf course. So we try to keep the people that are just there to hike a little bit out of harm's way for any flying disc. The golf course was very, very well designed. So it's nice to see that positive feedback. And I will be following up with their offer to do some projects at their expense once I have a little bit more information.
All right, you might as well continue, Michael, with the director's report.
All right, my director's report this evening is going to be brief. We have been, as you can imagine, the Parks and Rec staff has been working tirelessly to try to maintain and continue to have a version of the camp, summer camp, with the guidelines that were released. On June 22nd, municipalities and private camps are allowed to open for business. So you will see we're going to be posting for the public in the next, hopefully within the next few hours, our procedures and protocol. But just to give you a highlight about how we're going to run camp this year, We are under the direction right now by executive order to run under the Office of Early Childhood, commissioned by Beth By. And they had, what we have to do to run a camp is no more than 30 campers in one facility at a time. And those 30 campers have to be separated in groups of 10. After many discussions with the First Selectman's office, the Director of Finance's office, the region school, and also knowing that the region would like to do some sort of summer school through the summer, we elected that, it was decided among staff that the best place where we can have the best controls on our staff and our campers is to run the camp at our Parks and Rec facility. So that's where we're going to run the camp, because we can easily separate them into their groups of 10. And then we are going to expand into the property of Pomperog Elementary School. We're going to be using their gymnasium as an activity center, their bathrooms there, and then the ball fields in the back, and then the playscapes, if we can manage the playscapes, we'll be out there. So we're going to run to serve because we didn't think that 30 campers was going to serve enough South Barians. We elected to have, and to fit within the guidelines, to have 2 half-day sessions. So our camp is going to be different this year. We're going to run one morning session from 8 to noon. From noon to 1, we will clean and disinfect. And then from 1 to 5, another group of 30 campers will come. And with those campers, we will have dedicated staff. So if you are a staff member that works in the morning, you don't work in the afternoon. We have to sort of do our best to mitigate people, more than groups of 10 or 12, for example. So I think we've got a very good plan. You'll see that, I could email that plan, the link to the plan for anybody that's interested. It will be posted on our Park and Rec page soon. So please take a look at it. I think you'll be impressed with the hard work that Dan Liddy and staff have put into this. And I think we're all excited for the challenge. And we're excited that we can provide this level of service to the town of Southbury. Does anybody have any questions about camp for me at this time? Okay. Next on the list is the pool. The way we will probably run the pool this year, we are hoping to open it. It is already being treated chemically. Whether or not it's open to the public, we would still have the pool running throughout the summer because it's worse for the environment to just have it sit there empty. So we're going to run it, and the way we envision the pool is similar to the way we're going to run camp. If you were to go to the CDC guidelines or the state of Connecticut guidelines, which again we'll send you these links. But if you're interested to know, they don't want any after June 22nd when the next phase is open. They don't want groups of they want groups, no gatherings of more than 50 people. I'm pretty sure that's it. It may even be less than that. So the way we can manage the pool and allow social distancing to occur at the pool, we're going to limit the amount of people, and I've heard other towns doing this, so I was very pleased to hear that report on the news today that another town is doing exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be allowing a maximum number of patrons into the entire facility at one time. And that number right now is going to be 30. So if we have 30 people or 120 people signed up to use the pool, we're going to split those 120 people into 4 shifts, 90-minute shifts, so that the lifeguards aren't overwhelmed. There's going to be a schedule at the pool, which we're still finalizing that schedule. But take, for example, if we had 8 to 9:30 was an open swim. At 8, only the people that are signed up that basically have reservations for 8 to 9:30. We haven't quite figured out how we're going to execute that reservation system, but it's going to be like having a tee time at a golf course. You show up, and that way we can manage it, of course, too. We don't want to turn people away. People do get more upset when their plans change. So we'll have a reservation system. 30 people will come into the facility. There's plenty of space there for that number of people to socially distance both outside of the water and inside the water. Questions on the pool? All right, these guys Dan, you guys there?
Jim,
Okay, thank
Is
you.
now joining.
I'm
is-
here.
Thank you.
I just got here.
Oh, hey, Jim.
Hi, I'm still here.
Okay, thank you.
Here too.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't hearing any questions so I wasn't sure. And so then the last item under the director's report this evening is the park facilities. I think we're making good progress on the parks. I don't know if I was able to report to you last month because the director's report was accidentally omitted from the agenda, and with a special meeting, we couldn't add the item. But Lakeside Park has been completed. I welcome you to drive by it, scope it out. If you would, again, like additional information about it, we certainly have plenty of pictures that we could share with you. And then in terms of the maintenance of the parks, I mean, things are a little bit different this year because we are not having the sports leagues use the fields. The silver lining in this is I've talked in the past to the commission about having a fields maintenance plan, and resting the fields is high on that list. And we're probably giving the fields a little bit more rest than they needed this spring and summer. So hopefully with the restrictions being a little bit looser, right now, we do not have any field permits issued. Dan Liddy and myself are going to make some time next week, and we're going to start cross-referencing the request with the guidelines. We're going to have a little bit more control over what's happening on the fields, because we need to make sure that the people that are permitted to use the fields understand the restrictions. And so we'll be working on that. Feedback in general for the parks has been pretty positive. I know we've had some concerns throughout for some time. It appears that most of the items that have been on the checklist for a while have been remedied. There was a new sign installed at Settlers Park that looks pretty nice. There's a new sign at Siemens, and we've kind of pulled back a little bit on the spending, as you can appreciate. Not knowing where we're going to fall with camp, and not knowing where we're going to fall with what it costs to operate our programs through the summer, I elected to sort of slow down any spending that wasn't basically essential to get through the fiscal year with a surplus.
Michael, what about I hate to bring this up, but what about all the repairs that have been put into whatever that program is, that for things that need to be fixed? Have they been working on that?
Absolutely. That list, Michelle, is almost at this point. I think we should. I'd like to start a whole new list, because I think I've had that list now since I've been for a little over a year, and most of the items that had been on the list prior to my being here have been done. Some things might have, for one reason or another, like Lakeside Park there were a lot of items on that list. Well, by putting the new playground up, 10 items went away because it was all solved by installing the new playground. But yeah, Michelle, we are making progress on that list. It might not be a bad idea if the commission, Charlie, maybe at the next meeting, we can assign some commissioners to visit some parks with some checklists, and let's start taking a fresh look and seeing what you guys see, because I am capable of missing some things, and I'm sure our outside properties crew would agree. To have fresh eyes on our parks is never a bad idea. So maybe we can assign each commissioner certain tasks to go review the parks.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that, and we probably can take Lakeside off the list since that's all new. But and that was one of mine, so I can share another park with somebody else. But I think this way we come up with a complete list, and we'll see if there's anything that's still on there that was from before.
Makes sense.
So if you want, what we can do and departmentally is we can establish a list, and then I can provide that at the next meeting. Diane, could you make note of that for me? We'll provide a list of the parks at the next meeting, and then if the commissioners want to pick and choose or somehow lottery which parks they want, whatever, however you guys want to do that. And let's try to get out there. It's hard to believe that it's already going to be June the next time we meet. So if we can have that report back by September, hopefully any outstanding items can be done before the winter comes, and then the few remaining items that may still occur can be done before they start mowing the next season. Because that's when the outside property starts mowing, I will tell this commission that there is a lot of mowing to do. And once they start mowing in May, it's hard to, there's just, the math doesn't make way for too many hours to be left to do what some might consider the keep busy work, like paint this signpost. Well, that's not, that you need just 2 hours to do that, and sometimes it's hard to find those 2 hours when they're driving around this pretty large geographical area to mow. So I think it's a good idea that we get this list compiled, maybe even by August wouldn't be a bad idea.
Any questions on the director's report?
Nope.
Okay, what's your pleasure? Do you want to go ahead with the election of officers, or should we wait till we have more board members here?
I think we should just go ahead, no?
I'm leaving it up to you guys.
How many people are here? I can't see.
5 of us.
Who's not here? Oh, it's just 5 of us?
Who else came there?
I think it should
There's
wait.
5. You're missing Gabby. Well, George is an alternate, and Sal.
Come on.
Oh, okay, there's 6 of us.
Yeah, and we do have, and we have a quorum.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't worried about having a quorum. Okay, somebody want to make a nomination for chairman?
I'd like to nominate Charlie, you for chairman, and Jim for vice chairman.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it, Charlie.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Are there any other nominations?
Does anybody else want the job?
Hearing none, would somebody move that nominations be closed?
I move that nominations be closed. It's Michelle.
A second?
Can I don't know.
You can second it, Jim.
Does that mean that I'm agreeing to it, or?
That the nominations be closed.
All right, then now I can, all right. Unless anybody else has any other thoughts, I don't, I only feel like, I never thought I would be the second oldest person on the committee here.
You're not
And I
the
mean
oldest.
I mean longevity, I meant. But yeah, I don't know. I'll do what I can, if that's what you want.
Which is what you always do.
Yeah, I guess we do. We all do. So, all right, so I'll second the closing, and unless somebody else has another thought.
Okay, all those in favor of closing nominations?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so would somebody move that the secretary cast one ballot for the slate?
I move that the secretary cast one ballot for the slate.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Paul.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, that's done. Okay, old business. The pool task force. There's not much happening right now. We're waiting for the referendum, but we're also trying to gather information to answer some of the questions that are outstanding. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. I might be able to answer some of them.
Well, where are we with the pool, Charlie? What's going on?
We're waiting for a referendum to decide whether to purchase Edgewood or not.
Is there going to be? Are we going to be allowed to have a referendum? Did that get moved?
I'm sorry.
I say, were the rules changed about having a referendum? Are we going to be allowed to have one?
They're waiting on the governor. It appears that we're going to be able to have one, but we really haven't gotten a word as to when we can have one yet.
Okay. Well, that'll be interesting if we can. That'd be great.
Yeah. So everybody would prefer to go ahead with having a referendum.
Well, I think it's just important to know what the town wants. I mean, if it's going to end up costing them money, it'd be good to know they're behind it. If it's not going to cost them money and they want it that way, it's good to know that too. So, referendum sounds like the best way to go. I mean, unfortunately, if we don't get everybody out there and get their opinions, then you only get the people that are, vocal and complaining. But I guess it's our job to make sure everybody knows about it.
Right. If you haven't been to the website, you can go there, and there is some more information, but I think there's some questions that still haven't been answered yet.
Which website is that, Charlie? You talking about our website?
Yeah, it's our website, and then you go to Edgewood.
Oh, right. Okay.
Not the Park and Rec website, Jim, the Southbury homepage.
Yeah, the town of Southbury, right. Okay.
Yeah, everything's out there. The meetings that the town meetings that we had, all the information is out there. All the documents are out there.
Right. Good.
Okay, Jim, were you able to get any more information from Leaps of Faith?
No, I forwarded again, and I don't know whether maybe I'm going to their junk mail. I'll give it another try. Maybe. Who was the last person they communicated with? Was it you, Charlie?
No, with Larry.
I don't know. It was with Larry. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I should. I don't know. I'll try again, but maybe Larry should send them. Hey, if you're not getting emails from Jim, just communicate with us so we know what's going on. I haven't seen any activity out there, so I don't know. But now it might be a good time because the weather's been terrible. So
yeah,
maybe they haven't been doing anything.
I forget the woman's name, but she emails under her husband's email.
Okay. All right, I'll search for it.
I think it's Scott something.
Jim, I can send you the last correspondence that I received from their event coordinator. I think that would probably get you in the right direction.
Great, that'd be great. Yep, and I'll just let them know that. I don't know what they need from me, but certainly I would be the conduit so that they know who to talk to, and I'll share it with you guys.
Yeah, it'd just be nice to have an update and see if they're going to do any more work.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do.
Okay. Michael, do you have anything on the vendors?
I don't have any updates under vendors, Charlie. Obviously, there's been no requests because the parks are closed.
Okay, we're done. We can't add anything else again because this had to be a special meeting.
This is how come it's a special meeting?
It's a special meeting because of the time, and we had to move it because there's another meeting after ours tonight.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So because we posted all our meetings at the beginning of the year, I guess if we had posted this one a lot earlier, we would have been able to add stuff to it.
Okay. vendors in the parks, are they selling masks and things maybe? Has anybody seen them out there just because there are people out there?
I have not had any reports of any vendors in the park. And the ice cream, Circus Man Ice Cream, who is pretty, she knows how to get a hold of me and knows she's not shy. She has not. We haven't heard peep from her for 2 months. So I hope everything's okay. I feel badly for her. I'm sure this isn't easy for her because it wasn't just Southbury Parks that she vended at.
Right. Well, we'll see what happens, I guess. What are you going to do?
Okay, is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, all those opposed? Okay, yeah, gee,
If you
This-
oppose, I'm muting your mic.
this might be one of the
Record?
quickest meetings we've had in a long time. We used to, years ago when a fellow named Lengarelli was chairman, we used to have some pretty quick meetings, but there haven't been too many quick meetings in recent years. So everybody,
So much going on.
everybody, good night and stay well.
Good night, you too, Charlie.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.